Let's have a chat on this. Joining me now is a lawyer, Olariwaju Ajanoku, and Aderibigbe Abiola, a public affairs analyst. Gentlemen, you're welcome to the news. I'll start with you, Aderibigbe. What do you think are the potential and potential political, really, and public relations implications for the Nigerian Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajudeen Abbas, if they proceed with the allocation of the 110 billion naira for luxury cars and palliatives, as I've said earlier, despite SERAP's call to drop this plan?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me on the show. First of all, it is just simple. It is bad for our democracy. It shows that our lawmakers and different arms of the government are disconnected from the masses, and we have failed to wake up from the slumber that high cost of governance cannot be tolerated thus far. We cannot go ahead and be spending so much on maintaining governance in Nigeria. It shows that representatives are more interested in getting benefits other than representing the masses. I mean, because if you look from previous administration, they've spent humongous amounts on vehicles, houses, and other benefits. I mean, like, this should not be so, given the fact that their allowances and salaries are already even big and magnanimous already.
Right.
What are they changing cars for?
Good question. So let me find out from you, Lawyer Janoku, is the allocation of this 110 billion naira for the cars and the palliatives for the new lawmakers, is it in any way in line with Nigerian law, and does it adhere to any specific budgetary regulations?
Well, the truth be told, one thing is very certain, that for the government to just suddenly wake up and bring up certain sum of money as sums payable to lawmakers for them to be able to afford to have cars, luxury cars for that matter, is uncalled for. My brother there just mentioned it. It is simply as if the government is quite insensitive to what goes on around the country. People are hungry. I mean, people can't afford 3 square meals a day. There you go. There are ways and manners of going about issues of buying cars for lawmakers. There is a body, there is an agency responsible for confirming and working out what is payable or making what's made to be made available to the National Assembly.
Right.
But here we are, just wake up one day and you say 110 billion naira just for cars. Just for cars.
So Ajanoku, would you say that it falls foul of the law? Is that where we are headed now?
No, see, the law we have right now says there is a body. Unfortunately, I can't currently lay my hands on the name of the agency. There is an agency responsible to look out and rule out and begin to say, okay, look, for this segment, for this National Assembly, for this period of time, these and these things will be made available to the National Assembly. And not just that the National Assembly will simply have money at their beck and call, they just utilize the money for whatever they feel they need at the point in time. That's not so. It's not so. It should not be so.
Indeed.
They
Now,
are not following the law. That's not the way it is.
Absolutely.
I'm not surprised.
Why not? Why are you not surprised? Just before I move on to a day.
Because now, you see, what they are trying to do now is just to follow suit as per what has been done the previous time. And in the previous government, led by Muhammadu Buhari, you see, there was also impunity in the way and manner money were dished out to them to do certain things, not following that due process. How you listen? A senator will just wake up one day. You will say, if you want to buy cars worth 100 million naira to one person, and you have about how many of them, 365 of them, and you want to buy Jeeps for them, SUVs
Right. I do want us to run along and move on to Aderi Bigbe. Aderi, let's talk about public perception of the lawmakers and how it could be influenced by their decision to go for these luxury items at the expense, as you said earlier, of the poor Nigerian and at the expense of education. We know for a fact that there are over 20 million out of school children in this country. Talk to us about how this could impact public perception of the lawmakers.
I mean, there's no, thank you very much. There's no impact whatsoever. There's already a perception about these people, and the average Nigerian sees people in political class as parasites. You know, there's nothing that is good. There's no perception. Their reputation is not going to be affected whatsoever. So the average Nigerian already has a view about them. However, you know, the average Nigerian does not see them to aim for legislative accountability and transparency. It will further deepen the perception Nigerians already have about them that we do not believe in the functions and like I said earlier,
right.
We see them as a parasite and or abuse of rights.
Right. So on the subject of accountability, Ade, do the Nigerian people also show any interest to hold their lawmakers to account on issues such as this? What do you think, Ade?
Very recently, because of, I'll draw your mind back, because of the NSAS occurrence that happened about a few years ago, because of all these things, police brutality and a lot of things, Nigerians are beginning to be more interested in the situation and affairs of the country. So believe me if I tell you, Nigerians are more involved and want to be more involved in the situation of the country. So yes,
right,
they are more concerned.
Now let's find out what legal grounds there could be for groups like SERAP to take on lawmakers, challenge the allocation of these funds. Ajanaku, what can you tell us on that angle, whether or not there are any legal grounds now for SERAP to take up in the courts to challenge the lawmakers?
Understand one thing, that SERAP is a legal entity. SERAP is a pressure group. SERAP can sue and be sued. And with the way when they look at this acronym, the SERAP acronym says Socio-Economic and Economic Reforms and Accountability Projects. What are they for? They are there to ensure that the government does not have any wasteful spending. And when you have pressure groups like this, what are they there for? One, to checkmate the government, to put the government on its toes as to its responsibilities to the citizenry, to ensure that the government fulfills its promises to the masses. These are some of the things that they can do. These are the things they can also rise up to defend the masses. So they have a background and they have a local standard to sue on behalf of the Nigerian masses and be sued if they are seen to have gone wrong. So in this wise, SERAP has done well. SERAP is now a matter of, even if you get a judgment in your favor, how effective would that be? Will you be able to carry it out against the government?
Indeed, gentlemen, absolutely, very, very critical question there.
But one thing they are doing is that they are sensitizing majority of this populace. And people are getting to and begin to query what the government is doing. That we can't just rise up one day, spend so much money on cars, on luxuries, forgetting that you are there to ensure that
really critical question that you raised, but I also do want to draw your mind to the fact that they will be providing some 8,000 naira to some poor Nigerians within the country. Will that suffice? Perhaps the poor people have got their share, so have the lawmakers.
8,000 naira is a far cry You have over 200 million Nigerians in this country. You are not talking about taking be responsible for a negligible percentage, about just 12 million. About 12 million people for 8,000 naira to them for 6 months. Excuse me, 8,000 naira cannot feed a family of the husband, the mother, and a child for 3 days.
Gentlemen,
for 3 days.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your insight on the subject matter. I'm afraid this is all the time we have on this, but it's a developing story and we'll look into it. Thank you so much. Olariwaju Ajanaku is a lawyer. Adere Bigbe Abiola is a public affairs analyst.
Thank you very much.